It's ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
Good evening. It's Wednesday night, and welcome to the episode of the Ruckus podcast, brought to you by RB&J. Another week in boxing, another opportunity to talk to you about everything that's happening in the sweet science, some new developments that we're going to go over tonight, the latest in boxing news, and round it all out with the weekend fight schedule. But before we jump into everything, let me bring in my right hand, my ace, the raging babe herself, RB. What's going on, RB?
Hi, Jay. I miss everybody, man. I feel like I am lost in the sauce, but I'm so happy to be back on air with everyone and to bring the ruckus tonight. Boy.
Yeah, we bring in the ruckus tonight because we just got some things we have to get off our chest. We love the sweet science. We love the stories. We love talking about fights and the fighters, but there's just some things that just you don't understand them when you happen, and we're going to talk about them tonight. If you want to call in and sound off and give your opinions on any of tonight's topics, make sure you dial 718-508-9852 and press 1 on your keypad so that we know to pick you up. We see the switchboard is already lighting up with the 510, with the 714, with the 404. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to rock with us tonight. We're going to try to get to you, as many of you as possible. But without further ado, let's jump into some of these topics. Just a quick overview of some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about the ongoing saga between Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, negotiations, venues, where that fight's at. Yesterday in Los Angeles, we had the half of the LA press conference to promote the fight. I guess you could call it a press conference to promote the fight, but we'll get into that. And if you want to check out some of the videos from the press conference, make sure you head over to Bad Culture TV. Tonight, we will also talk about Manny Pacquiao versus Jessie Vargas is official and confirmed for November. Where's the fight going to be broadcast? Seen some tweets out there from Lance Pugmire of the LA Times that says that the fight will not be on HBO, but there is an announcement coming from Top Rank head Bob Arum that the fight will land on ESPN somehow. Very curious to see how that works, but we'll talk about that during the show. We'll talk a little bit about Felix Verdejo, who was injured this week in a motorcycle accident. Thank God he's alive and he's still able to, and he still has his motor functions, but motorcycles are very, very dangerous. But we'll talk about Verdejo later in the show. Also, beef I've seen in social media in a while, Terrence Crawford and Danny Garcia. These two were going at it for a full straight day, and I was here for it. You know, I like a little Twitter beef sometime, especially with some potatoes and broccoli. So we'll talk about Crawford versus Garcia. Speaking of beef, Marcos Maidana announces his official retirement this week on social media. Marcos hasn't fought since 2014 when he last fought the rematch against Floyd Mayweather. I ain't mad at him. He made a grip of dough at all from those two fights.
We'll talk more about Marcos a little later in the show, too. Not mad at him at all either, Jay.
No judgment. He probably still out in the jungle with the Datsun or whatever he had making top ramen and tattooing himself. So he living very good.
Steak on aluminum foil.
Right. Marcos is good for the rest of his life because he's probably really good with his money. Hey, he's not spending it on tattoo artists. We know that. We'll talk a little bit about the 30-day check-in for Golovkin and Kell Brook. What the hell is Kell Brook over there in London eating? But we're going to talk about that later in the show. So once again, if you want to call in and talk to me and RB and I, dial 718-508-9852. Let's jump in with Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, RB. As you listeners know, the fight in April, Kathy Duga had a press conference here in Los Angeles saying they reached an agreement contingent on them winning a couple fights. Kovalev won his fight against Isaac Shalemba. Andre Ward just won his fight against Alexander Brad. Now we're here. Now we're having some trouble getting to the finish line. RB, Ward versus Kovalev. It was a sure thing.
We thought it was a sure thing. And actually, Jay, I want to kind of pass it back to you because you were at yesterday's press conference, and I remember you telling me that the mood was so heavy and that Kovalev was expressing a lot of disappointment that Andre Ward wasn't there. Now, I wasn't even sure that Andre Ward was supposed to be there. But tell us about the mood at the press conference. Did you get to talk to Kathy Duva or anyone there?
At the press conference here in Los Angeles, we got there at our appointed time. There was a little delay. We weren't sure exactly what's going on, so it took quite a while, over an hour, for us to officially get started. And then when Kovalev and Kathy Duva arrived, they seemed to be frustrated. The air seemed to be tense. And in the opening remarks, Kathy Duva was pretty vocal about what she was feeling. She knew that there was a fight. She knew that there was an agreement in place, but she wasn't exactly sure what was going on and what was holding it up. As we know, Andre Ward fought this past weekend in Oakland. I didn't know he was supposed to be there as well. What we received, the information from Main Events, we thought it was just a Q&A session with Kovalev. I didn't know if it was an official intro, so I'm not sure exactly what it is. We had Michael Buffer there. I mean, I love Michael Buffer, but we didn't really need Michael Buffer for what we did, but it was pretty dope he was there. So that's where we are. Kathy Duva seemed to be very frustrated. Soon as she walked in, she said, just when you think you have the job under control, something happens in this sport to make you think otherwise. I'm paraphrasing, but she said something to that effect when she first came.
Yeah, I also watched a video that she did with Radio Raheem, actually. Shout out Radio Raheem. And she was saying that she thinks this is almost like a ploy, like they're plotting to have this fight moved from Las Vegas and over into Oakland. And if that's true, that's kind of shady. We know Rock Nation is not Promoter of the Year, and they have had some difficulties since coming into the business, infrastructure problems, lack of experience, power struggles. David Itzkowitz, who was their COO, has just recently resigned. So they're very, very dysfunctional. And I'm just really surprised because I feel like there is more to this story. And, if Andre Ward wanted all of this to go away and just wanted to make the fight, he could just do that. I mean, he could really put a stop to all this and say, look, let's not jeopardize this fight. We don't need to come to Oakland. We could stay in Las Vegas. Prime example, Victor Postel did not want to go to Omaha to fight Terrence Crawford. I don't blame him. Right. They were both champs. Right. So Crawford said, F it. We could go to Vegas. I'm not going to jeopardize this fight not happening. We don't got to come to Omaha. So I think Andre Ward, if he wanted to put a stop to this mess of the venue, the city, and all these other things that were apparently already agreed to, he could put an end to it if he wanted to. And we don't see that happening.
I couldn't agree with you more. Maybe he's having a flashback from the time when he fought Chad Dawson and Chad was a champ and Chad came down to fight him. Sergey Kovalev is a very different beast than Chad Dawson in stature and where they are at their respective careers. Kovalev is peaking at his career, not to mention he's the holder of all the belts except for the WBC. So I would think that would give him a bit of negotiating power at the table. But as far as a fight in Oakland, I get everybody likes to fight at home. I like to do what I like to do at my house. But at the same time, you compromise, you come to an agreement, you come to a neutral territory, and it seemed like that's what was taking place in Las Vegas. Granted, I always thought the T-Mobile Arena might be a little too big for this fight, but I agree with the notion of having the fight in Las Vegas. Oakland, Las Vegas, do they want to fight in Russia? What do we do with this fight?
Well, and that's why I think there's more to this. And I'm going to go a little deeper just because I know a little bit more about Andre Ward and some other things. But, I feel like they're waiting for something. They're trying to stall. And I wonder if it has anything to do with the drug testing. I'm wondering, Kovalev and Chilemba, I think they did VADA or USADA. I believe they did VADA for that last fight over there in Russia. I hope they did. But don't be surprised if that's what Andre Ward is waiting for, is for those results.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to consider because when I spoke to John David Jackson at yesterday's press conference, and also when he spoke to other members of the media, Kovalev was pretty adamant in saying that he thought he fought a good fight against Chilemba because Chilemba was a better opponent than people thought. But his trainer, John David Jackson, was pretty clear that Kovalev wasn't very focused in the fight. He had a lot of distractions going on. And in the midst of all those distractions, you know, I'm not trying to imply anything. I'm just stating what the facts are. We do know that Russia has a countrywide problem with performance-enhancing drugs. Some of them barely made it to the Olympics. We've seen Povetkin just had an issue with it. We've seen a number of athletes. Granted, Kovalev does train stateside here, but he's not here all the time. There's no telling. So,
well, and I don't think Kovalev dopes whatsoever, but I also do know how Andre Ward thinks, and that's why I said that I think it's something bigger. I think they're stalling over something more than just the T-Mobile Arena. You know, I just think they're trying to buy some time for something.
If you looking into the crystal ball, I'm trying to think what possibly, you know, listeners, you're listening to this show. Give us your thoughts. Tweet RB or tweet myself. What do you think is going on to derail this fight between Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev? There are those of you online who say it's fear. There are those of you who have big feet conspiracy theorists. Tweet us what you think is the real holdup between the Ward and Kovalev fight.
Well, I know all the fans, you know, are frustrated. The media is frustrated. But can you imagine how frustrated Kathy Duva is? I mean, this was supposed to be the highlight for her. You know, she has built Kovalev wonderfully. This is the biggest fight, the fight that all the fans have been screaming for like a year. And she can't even really officially announce this fight. Now, back at our brunch back in June in New York, Jay, you remember how excited she was when not only did we honor her, but we had some ladies from Rock Nation there, and they were kind of joking with each other, like, yeah, we're going to see each other later this year in November. It's going to be a great fight. Like, this fight was done.
Yeah.
So it's really, you know, frustrating, I'm sure, for Kathy to really not even be able to start selling tickets right now. You know, that they can't even formally announce this fight. It's crazy.
Can't formally announce it. Can't sell any tickets. You know, when Kathy can't promote it, don't know how to promote it, can't even make any kind of printed material. Hell, you can't even really make, I mean, you can make a hashtag, but, you know, what great is that? You know, when we kicked off the press conference, the first thing Kathy said when she came out, well, as she took the mic and addressed the media, she said, usually the most fun that someone in my position can have as a boxing promoter is to be able to announce the biggest fight of the year that everyone can't wait to see between two of the top 5 fighters in the world is taking place. Both of them with undefeated records. Usually it's fun, and I hope perhaps at some point this promotion will become fun. At the moment, I'm just here to tell you, we're fighting November 9th. We expect that fight to take place somewhere, and when we find out, we'll let you know. Lance Pugmire, before we jumped on the air tonight, tweeted that the impasse is over and it's back at the T-Mobile Arena, but are we sure? Do we have some receipts that's going to confirm that the fight is there? Did we sign something? Did you get a copy, RB? I didn't get a copy. So,
his headline said, November 19 looks headed to T-Mobile. So I don't even know if that is 100%. It looks like it's headed back to T-Mobile. Looks.
It looks like it's headed back that way. I'm going to play back. I pulled a little clip from the fight this weekend when he defeated Brandon Kovalev, jumped into the ring to formally announce a fight with Max Kellerman. So I'm just going to play back what Ward said after the fight.
Are all systems go for November 19th and Sergey Kovalev?
That's what it looks like to me, baby. I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it. I want to be the light heavyweight champion of the world. I had to get past this step. He got past this step. So I'll see you in November.
It looks that way. Not it's on, bring it, let's get it cracking. It looks that way.
Right. We should have known right then and there. That he pretty much said right there that shit wasn't done.
Mhm.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop your fucking lying.
Yes.
I don't know. He could have said, hey, you know what it is, Max. We agreed in April. He won his fight. I won my fight. It's on and popping. But instead, it sure looks that way.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh, my God. Stop your fucking lying.
Yes, bummer.
That's a bummer. But we will
Moving
keep
on.
a bird's eye view on that topic and see what happens over the week. Hopefully we're just being shady and everything will be okay, and we'll all get our press releases in our email boxes to share with all you beautiful listeners sometime this week.
Look, we just want great fights. That's it. So this is a little hiccup. But anyway, moving on, let's talk about Pacquiao versus Jessie Vargas, Shay.
Manny Pacquiao versus Jessie Vargas. We now know who Manny Pacquiao is fighting. He's fighting against WBO champion Jessie Vargas for the title. Jessie was supposed to fight Kell Brook, but now he gets potentially a bigger payday fighting against Manny Pacquiao. We're guessing the fight will be in Vegas. It should be an easy fight to make. Pacquiao likes to fight there. Jessie Vargas lives there, so it's both of their backyards. No problem there. Word today in social media is that the fight will be a pay-per-view fight-ish, but not on HBO. But let's just start with the fight itself. Jessie Vargas talked to us quite a bit when we're out in Las Vegas on the media row, and he alluded that something bigger was coming, and that something bigger came in the form of Manny Pacquiao. Are you surprised that Pacquiao took this fight with Vargas instead of a fight against Crawford, which could have potentially been an even bigger swan song payday?
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm not surprised at all. It was pretty obvious that they were going to skip over Crawford and fight Jessie Vargas. It's a more winnable fight. I think Vargas will give him some problems, but it's a more winnable fight for Pacquiao. He looked really good against Tim Bradley. I mean, he made it kind of look easy against Tim Bradley. Vargas had a little bit of a hard time with Tim.
Yeah. And this has to be the quickest retirement other than, I'd say, Brandon Rios, who retired and then started training the next day for a fight that's going to happen in the future. But we knew Manny Pacquiao wasn't really ready to retire, and that congressman life is not for him 24 hours a day.
I actually heard last week, Jay, that he gives away so much of his money. I guess this is some word on the curb. When he goes back to the Philippines, he literally gives his money away. It's not like he just donates it to, like, charities and all. Like, he's literally just giving money away. I think there's, like, a game show where it's like, win Manny's money, and they answer a question and they win $2,000. Like, I swear, I'm not even making this up. And I was like, you joking? And they had to show it to me. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. So he is going to continue to fight. I mean, yes, he's in politics and a lot of his money goes there, but he is just overly giving away his money. And everybody around him is like, Manny, you got to chill, but it's just in his nature. So, yeah, I could see Manny fighting at least 2 or 3 more fights for sure.
We got to get him over there talking to my man, MC Hammer, giving some advice on giving your money away. You know, you want to help everybody, and God bless him. I'm absolutely sure it's coming from pureness of heart and the legitimate desire to want to help people. But you got a lot of kids and a wife, and Manny Pacquiao, in real life terms, is still a very young man. And I'm quite sure what senators are getting paid in the Philippines does not amount to what he's making in the ring. So he got to slow down a little bit, And then the next question that jumps into my mind is, if he fights Vargas and Vargas wins, is he still going to continue to fight? I could see the allure of fighting Jessie Vargas, a winnable fight, and he picks up a belt. What do we do with Manny Pacquiao after that? Who's he going to fight now? Is he going to fight Tim Bradley again?
No, I mean, at that point, they would have to almost force him to fight Terrence. It would almost have to be forced. I wouldn't even be surprised if they wrote it in the contract and said, okay, you're going to fight Vargas, you win, and you have to fight Crawford. Like, that might actually be a stipulation in there.
That's not a bad idea. Once again, you are tuned into the Ruckus podcast. I'm Jay. RB is on the line with me. We are talking about Manny Pacquiao's upcoming fight against Jessie Vargas. If you would like to talk to us, some of you have tweeted to us that you want to talk to us tonight, but you've got to press 1 on your keypad so we know to pick you up. I see you in the queue, 213-510-812-718-404. Jesus Christ, where are these people coming from? I see some zip codes. I don't even look like British zip codes. What's up? Thanks for rocking with us on a Wednesday night to talk about the sweet science. But if you want to talk to us, you've got to press 1 so I know to pick you up, because I don't want to pick you up in here. Oh, I was just listening to the show. You got to let us know we want to talk to you. Right now we're talking about Pacquiao versus Vargas. WBO title fight. Manny Pacquiao always manages to find himself in the hunt for a title. Shortest-lived retirement ever. He beat Tim Bradley, and now he's coming back to fight Jessie Vargas. Not a peep from Terrence Crawford's name coming out of his mouth, but that could change after the Vargas fight. And so back to the Vargas fight and what we mentioned at the top of the show. There are some grumblings floating around. The fight could land on ESPN. According to Lance Pugmire of the LA Times, Bob Arum has announced for us to anticipate some type of announcement with regards to how the fight is going to be carried between Pacquiao and Vargas. It's going to be a pay-per-view fight, but I love that it's not on HBO because it probably won't cost $832.47. But How does that work on ESPN? I've never purchased a pay-per-view event via ESPN. RB, do you know anything about how that works?
I don't. I've been really lost. I've been out of the loop, actually, for the past week. I was hoping, that you were going to catch me up to speed this week. I don't know how ESPN pay-per-view works. I think it'd be a really cool audience. ESPN has way more viewers than HBO. Pacquiao is a mainstream fighter. He's more of a household name. So it'll probably work much, much better on ESPN. I know that Top Rank is trying to be more innovative these days and creative, and they're trying to find other ways to showcase their fighters because, as we all know, HBO does have a lot of issues right now with their budget and their dates, and Top Rank still has to keep their guys active. So I think it was really cool and innovative that they actually went the ESPN route.
I like that, too. The last great fight I saw, ESPN does some cool fights. It was Areola versus Stavern, I believe, and the fight was here at UFC. That was a great fight. It was great coverage, and it did great numbers. Far more households have ESPN than HBO. And, we love HBO, but, that's expensive. That is expensive. And maybe an ESPN platform show, maybe it'll be like $20. So that's cool. That's like 4 lattes. And we can watch the fight and have a good one. Let us now move on to Felix Verdejo. For those of you who missed it, Felix Verdejo was injured in a motorcycle accident this past week. He is currently in stable condition. RB, why don't you go ahead and give us an update on Verdejo and what's happening with him?
Yeah, so Sunday I had just gotten back to Phoenix from Tucson, and I got a message that Felix Verdejo was in an awful, terrible motorcycle accident. I was asked to keep it, on the low, not to release it to the public yet, but that he was doing really bad. He suffered head trauma. I actually saw an early photograph of him where, I kind of wanted to break down crying for the kid. He's lucky to be alive. The photos that I saw were absolutely horrific. They were way too graphic to put on social media. And I was just praying for that kid. And it eventually did leak out into the media. I think it's disgusting that some media members were actually making jokes about it. I think we all know that motorcycles are dangerous. We all know that fighters are idiotic to even jump on a motorcycle, being so what they do for a living. Any athlete, for that matter, whether you're a baseball player, a football player, when you're making that kind of money, why would you even risk your body and your health and your on a motorcycle? We could all agree to that. But, there was nothing funny about this accident. The kid is really fortunate and blessed to be alive. Right now he is in stable condition, and the last I heard today is that he possibly could be coming home this week, and only time will tell. So I doubt he will be back in the ring this year because of the head trauma that he suffered. And again, he is somebody's brother, he is somebody's son, he is somebody's nephew. He is a human being. You know, I rip on Adrian Broner all the time. But let me tell you, if Adrian Broner was in a life or death situation, if he was in an accident, the last thing I would be doing would be making jokes about it. So I just think that, you know, we need to have a little more class. You know, the fans, the media members, I mean, come on, let's just be a little more humane. You know, thank God that the kid is alive. You don't have to like him. He doesn't have to be your favorite boxer, but you know, he's in pretty bad shape, to be honest.
Right. And whether it was a stupid decision or not to ride a motorcycle, like you said, RB, he's a human being and he's somebody's child. So respect that just on that alone. I wouldn't, at any rate, we'll just leave it at that. A little bit more respect, people. The man is human. If you don't have anything nice to say, then God damn it, don't say anything at all, and keep it pushing. You don't. Everything that comes up does not have to come out on Twitter, out your mouth, in a text message. You know, just save it. You know, go in the corner in the basement and yell it at the wall if you got some issue with somebody. Just save it. So moving on, I'm glad that Felix Verdejo is okay. The picture looked pretty brutal. The version that I saw was on Boxing Scene. It's just good to see that kid has his eyes open and hopefully a speedy recovery. In other accident news, I saw a story earlier today, I believe on Boxing Scene, that Deontay Wilder needs an additional surgical procedure done on his injured hand. This guy is having some incredible hand issues, and that's really, really tragic. For those who missed it, he injured his hand after the Areola fight in his arm. He had surgery, posted some videos from surgery, and now he has to go back into the hospital. So prayers for a speedy recovery from the champion, Wilder.
What a sucky year for him. I mean, you know, with that whole thing happening in Russia, and then, you know, they had to find an opponent. They end up with Chris Areola. They kind of had to force that fight. You know, Chris wasn't really ranked in the top 15, and they kind of forced the fight to keep Deontay active. And then he hurts himself, and now he needs another surgery. It's just been a freaking effed up year for him. I feel bad for the dude. I mean, we like him. Too bad.
Too bad for him. Bringing up the mood a little bit, let's talk about somebody who's probably having a great week, and that's Marcos Maidana. If you missed it, I'm sure you've seen all the pictures in social media. Marcos is about that good life. Well, Marcos Maidana, you can put away your thoughts on when a possible ring return for Chino is going to happen, because it ain't. Marcos Maidana took to his social media this week to formally announce his retirement from the sport of boxing. So not mad at Marcos Maidana, RB.
No, you know what? He went out his way, and that's really good to see. You see a lot of fighters right now, they're not going out the right way. They're continuing to fight, whether it's for money or whatever. He's riding off into the sunset on his terms, his way. And guess what, y'all? He fought some of the best fighters. Let's take it back. Victor Ortiz, Amir Khan, Eric Morales, Soto Karass, Lopez, Broner, Floyd twice. How can you knock him? He fought some of the best fighters. He gave it his all. And you know what? He made some good bread, and he's in Argentina living good. I ain't mad at him at all.
Stop. Put some respect on my name. You understand me?
That's right, Marcos Maidana.
Put some respect on my name. You understand
me?
We
putting some respect on your name. You fought top competitors. You got your two biggest paydays of your life at the very end. Some people can't get one ticket to the Floyd sweepstakes. You got two. And you are a humble man living a humble life. So you probably going to ball out in Argentina for quite a while. So congratulations to him.
He's good.
He is very, very good. Just to read a quick excerpt from his retirement, he said, "I had a tough career and I fulfilled many of my dreams. I'm a very happy man with my family and friends by my side these days. I know many of you think I still have things to do and battles to fight, and I respect that. That's something that's been on his mind, etc., etc. Today, I do not feel motivated enough, do not have the fire inside me to intend to climb those mountains again. That is why I announced my retirement." Damn right.
Good for him. Yeah, you know what? He could come back and be lazy and look like shit and then get beat by what? An up-and-coming prospect? You know, he's not going to go out like that. He's going to go out on top, so good for him.
Ain't worried about nothing. Nigga.
Yeah,
Nigga
Marcos
ain't worried
is
about
good.
nothing.
He ain't worried about nothing. He's going to be living.
Yeah. Talking about beef, the 30-day weigh-in.
Woo!
Huh?
I said, woo. Let's talk about 30-day weigh-in, RB. Let's get it.
Yeah. The WBC 30-day weigh-in check-in was today. Golovkin tipped the scale at 165 pounds, and Kell Brook tipped in at 175.
What?
He is a light heavyweight. He is a light heavyweight.
They have been trying to tell us on this. Oh, well, you know that Golovkin is, Kell Brook is actually big for a welterweight. Yeah, goddammit, he's big for a welterweight. He's a light heavyweight. 176 pounds, 30 days out. They are fighting at a firm 160, 16 pounds. And if you see the pictures of Kell Brook, I mean, he looks pretty sexy. I like a man with some meat on his bone. But not if you are fighting at 160 pounds. His normal fighting weight is 147 pounds. What is going on?
I want to take it a step further. If he weighed in at 176 today, mind you, they've been training for this fight now for what, like a month?
That's right.
So what the hell did he weigh at the beginning of camp?
Right. I'm gonna start calling him
he must have been like 190.
Wait, for those of you, I know our guy Simplificado likes to tune into the Ruckus. We need the plug. We need somebody over there across the pond who can get us pictures of these fighters when they're not in camp. We don't want the boxing scene photos. We don't want the fat girl angles and the tricky angle photos. We want somebody to catch Kell Brook or these guys coming out of Taco Bell on Saturday night at 3 a.m. I want to know what Kell Brook looked like at the beginning of camp. If somebody can find us a picture of Kell Brook right before they announce this fight against Golovkin or when they announce the fight against Golovkin, we will send you something from the Raging Babe store.
Yes.
It has to be an authenticated photo of Kell Brook when they announce the fight against Golovkin. Because he's 176 now. RB, he had to be like 200 pounds. Are you kidding me? A 147 who's moving up to 170, 160, who weighs 176 today? Fuck out of here. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, he's going to be big as Golovkin on fight night. He's going to be big and slow. But enough of that. We'll see what's going to happen to them in 30 days. You know, I got some friends that sell Herbalife, so if he want to holler at me, I can give him the plug and connect him with the Herbalife people. Let's move on. Let's talk about two people. It's so funny. Let's talk about two people, a fighter we like and a Puerto Rican. I mean, not saying that we don't like him, but that's pretty funny for this combination of people. Terrence Crawford, Danny Garcia. These two decided that this week they were going to get it cracking on social media. Angel Garcia kicked off the beef between Danny and Terrence, calling Bud Crawford a paper champion, and just had some not so kindly things to say. I guess they didn't expect Bud to respond since he is a man of few words, but he opted to clap back with authority. He did by bringing up the fact that Victor Postol was an opponent that they paid step-aside money that he made easy work recently. RV, Team Crawford, Team Garcia.
You know what? I didn't really say much about it because I have just been really fed up lately with talking about things that just aren't going to happen. I think one of Danny's last tweets was, have Bob Arum call Al. Well, we know how well that doesn't fucking work. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, all right, it was really great for Twitter. I think it was great for Bud because he loves him from Facebook. I've been telling him for the longest time, Bud, you need to get on Twitter more. You need to be more active. But he loves him from Facebook. But it was good to see him interacting and, speaking up and making really good points and kind of shutting shit down. But, it was good for Twitter. It was a good fight on Twitter, and that's about it. So, I'm not really wasting my time talking about the potential of that fight happening. We could just keep it moving. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, there's nothing to see here. Push along. But, it was cool to see it on Twitter. It was cool while it lasted on a slow tweet. Thumbs down. But Danny Garcia, he does need an opponent. He's supposed to fight against Andre Berto. RB, you called that months ago, before that was even a thought in anyone's head. What's going on with that? Why haven't we received that fight announcement yet?
Well, so here's the word on the curb is that, whoever won out of Berto Ortiz is going to get Danny Garcia. That has been the plan. It is still the plan. But now there's a problem. If you hear Danny Garcia the past couple months doing interviews, he's like, I don't really know about that fight. I kind of heard about it, but we need to. Look, let me tell you, the latest that's happening right now is Angel Garcia is on vacation. Okay, I tried looking for Angel and reaching out to them to see. There's a holdup here, and it's not Andre Berto. Berto is ready to fight. He's good with the money. Right now, Andre Berto's on vacation now, too. So the Garcia camp and the Berto camp, they chilling. So that fight happening in September looks really slim. The chances of that happening look slim. So both camps are on vacation, and the word on the curb is that Danny wants more money. And I'm not surprised. I'm not sure what they're asking for, but Berto's ready to fight.
Berto, people can say what they want to get about Andre Berto, but Andre Berto is always ready to fight. He will take a fight. You don't really hear him turning down fights, so I believe that. I believe everything about him ready for a fight. Why don't we take it to the console? I see somebody pressed 1, and I think it's our man Joey. What's going on, Joey Cuevas?
Hey, how you guys doing? Jay, RV, how you doing?
Hey.
Good. Hey, let me start real quick. RB, I don't get that Spanish channel out here, so I couldn't watch the Juan Baby Bull fight over the past weekend in Phoenix. How was that card? I know you was there promoting it.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have never been the biggest Baby Bull fan. Okay, that's no secret. But his fight with Cesar Vasquez was really, really good. It was a lot of action. There was a lot of drama. He's still a very much like a come-forward fighter. And he still fights like he's young. So he is very adamant about going for his 5th world title. And I think they're going to make something like that happen. Now, unfortunately, with Verdejo, being in his accident, Verdejo was supposed to fight Flanagan. And so Juan Baby Bull Diaz just might get that opportunity now. But it was a really good card. I mean, it was a good fight for what it's worth.
Yeah, I seen you talking up some prospects up in Phoenix. It was like Phoenix versus Tucson or something like that.
Yeah, that's a real rivalry out here. It's a real rivalry out here. Those guys really want to kill each other when they're in the ring. And the one kid from Tucson, he's actually really good, and we're looking to get him signed. And if you can catch it online, I'll try to send you the link. You got to see it. It was so good.
Okay, and y'all, there's so much news to talk about. I guess. My thing, so basically the Garcia and Crawford, you think that was just entertainment for the week? You don't think that's even possible in the near future, like maybe the end of next year or something like that, or that's just all talk?
I think it's all talk. I mean, I think if you spoke to Terrence and his trainers, they would make that fight yesterday, but the politics just really aren't going to allow that to really happen. I mean, it just, have Bob call Al. Come on, man. They tried to make the Pacquiao fight with Broner. They tried other people. They tried reaching out to Thurman. It's just there's no marriage there yet. The lawsuit was dropped, and everybody thought, oh, wow, great. Now Top Rank and Heyman could work together. And I was the one saying, nah, that's not what that means. And obviously we don't see fights getting made yet between them.
Yeah, hey, Jay, I got a question for you. Is there J Rock versus Charlo? Is there a purse bid coming up for that, or is there like a date set for that fight? Do you know?
the purse bid for that fight actually was canceled, if I'm not mistaken. They were set to head to purse bid, and then the purse bid did not happen. So the writing on the wall with that is if there's no purse bid, then they came to some sort of an agreement to make that fight happen. I haven't seen any new updates on the fight with J-Rock and Charlo. Have you seen any new updates on that fight, RB?
I have not. I know that the purse bid was canceled, like Jay said. They did come to an agreement, but now I'm starting to think, well, what kind of agreement was this? Did they just agree to fight? Because so far there's no date, there's no venue, there's no city. I don't know if they're waiting, to stick them under something else. I know there was rumors of Mares versus Cuellar happening in L.A. That has kind of come and gone too. I was thinking maybe Danny Garcia and Berto would be in Brooklyn and that they would put J-Rock and Charlo on that card. But word on the curb is that Charlo wants that fight in Houston. He wants it to go to Texas. And so we'll just have to play that by ear. We'll have to see how that works out.
Okay, one more thing, Jay and RB.
Maybe they're putting it on hold.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, maybe they're putting it on hold so they can make it part of an episode of Love and Hip Hop Houston. I don't know.
They are filming.
Hey, Jay and RB, I'm a real big fan of Verdejo, and I was devastated when I heard about it. I was like, no, I didn't think it was that serious when they said if he scratches, But then when I saw them pictures, is this like career threatening where he may have to retire from this, or it's too early to get into stuff like that?
Well, it's too early to determine that, and the last thing I was told today is, time heals and will determine what's next for him. So I kind of took that as he's out for the year, and they're just going to have to see how he recovers. There's going to have to be recovery. There's going to have to be therapy. There's going to have to just be a lot of things in order for him just to get well again. Forget about even, training, just as far as, walking and motor skills and mentally and everything. So it was a pretty bad accident. We'll have to just wait and see and hope for the best for him.
Okay. Hey, Jay, I'm going to leave y'all with this. I don't want to hog up this time. I'm going to leave you with this. But, Jay, what about if, I'm going to leave on a positive note, what if Mickey Donovan was a promoter? He'd be awesome, wouldn't he? For Ray Donovan?
If Mickey Donovan was a promoter, he'd be a cross between Bob Arum and Don King. Like, he'd have that cool little swagger, except he got that Boston brogue, but he'd be doing dirty shit under the table, like selling people their own towels and their own contract like Don King. So that's I like that.
Hey, that last episode was too much. I don't know if you saw the last episode where he got transferred to a different prison, but, man, that was just too much, man. But, yeah, hey, y'all be good. I really support y'all show. I stayed up. I'm over here on Central Time, so I had to stay up to support y'all. But y'all be good. And I'll tune in to y'all whenever, I think on Monday y'all be back, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. All right, y'all be good then.
Thank you, Joey. We love you. Bye.
All right, thanks, Joey.
Okay.
Right, Joey, coming through with the heat and coming through with the Ray Donovan reference. If you follow me, I love my Ray Donovan.
Yeah, he had all types of questions for us. That was great. What about this and what about that? That's what we like. Press 1 and talk to us. And, we're not perfect. Sometimes we forget to touch on things, or you might have questions or things you want to know about that maybe we have the answers to. Maybe
we got somebody else pressing 1. I know who this is. I recognize this area code. 347. Holla at us on the Ruckus. Who are we talking to?
You already know it's your boy Mike Money. What's good?
Mike Money.
We know what it is.
I got one question.
Good, Mike.
All right, give it.
I got one question. Do you think boxing is coming back to New York after, with this $1 million insurance thing that the promoters got to pay up front? You think it's going to be coming back? Or it's not looking too good for my city?
That's a hard question. I know for smaller promoters, it's going to be really hard to keep running. I think about Luzabella, and a lot of people give him a lot of shit, but he's the only one that still does that Broadway boxing series, and it's going to cost him a fortune to continue doing club-level shows now. So, I think it's going to hurt him more than it would hurt some of the bigger guys. When you look at Top Rank, it's not like they have a plethora of amount of fighters anyway. Lomachenko did well there. Verdejo did well there. But other than that, why do they really need to come to New York? So I think Heyman got all the money. He's balling. So I don't know if it'll affect him too much. It looks like he likes losing money and throwing money away anyway. So I think that they'll stay in Brooklyn with the PBC.
Mike, you got it for him? You gonna let him hold $1 million so we can do some fights in New York?
So we listen. New York. No disrespect to the West Coast, because I got love for any boxing anywhere. I got mad love, but New York is the Mecca. I got that little East Coast bias, but it's all good. Yeah, just a little bit, but man, y'all been cooking. Man, this show y'all are fire. You already know. One more question. Let me ask you this, and I already know the answer, but I had to ask it anyway. Do you think in any foreseeable future, any one of the top cats at 126 is going to fight Oscar Valdez? Because that boy good.
That boy is good. It's going to happen, and I'm saying that because he wants it to happen. Valdez has been actually steering his own ship. He has a management team, he has a promoter, but he also has some control of his career, which is great because we see so many fighters that don't call their own shots. They refer back to their manager. They have no say-so in what they're doing. And he really wants to be that guy. He really wants to fight top opposition. He was talking last week about, eventually moving up to 130. So, and that's after a while. I would say he would do a few more fights at 126, but it's going to happen. He's going to be a really big deal pretty soon.
That's what's up. And another question just popped up. What is more likely to happen? Chocolatito moving up to 122, hopefully fighting my boy Rigo, who everybody ducks, or Rigo going up to 126 to fight the guys that moved up to 126 to avoid him anyway?
I think all the sacrificing is going to have to be Rigo. It's the way that his whole career has been. If he wants to fight, he's going to have to be the one to sacrifice, whether it's move up, move down, go here, go there, go out the country, fight barefooted, naked. I mean, he's the one that's going to have to make all the sacrifices. Because,
RB in his last fight, he broke Money's jaw. He broke his jaw.
Yeah.
And listen, that's not spectacular. I mean, I know the one on the Cotto Canelo undercard, that was a real stinker, but he just broke somebody's jaw. I mean, that was exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's just too bad nobody grabs onto him. But I kind of like your idea where, maybe he's going to have to continue to dare to be great, move up to 126, and you just talked about Oscar Valdez at 126. Like, how dope would that be? Maybe next year or the year after that, if that fight happens.
Oh boy,
I'm telling you.
I would like that, and I'm gonna tell you, and I said it on Twitter the night Crawford. He put in that work against Post. So I said it in 2018. I want to see Crawford and Earl Spence Jr. Ooh, that fight would be something.
That would be fire.
That would be a super fight, man,
ooh, Mike, keep putting that energy in the universe. Keep putting that energy in the universe. I like that fight.
I like it too. Man, it's been a long time since I talked to y'all, man. Y'all been really cooking, and I hope that November 19th, we get that war over. I need that. I mean,
damn right.
We all need that. Boxing needs that.
Sir.
No doubt. But once again, y'all, every time I listen to y'all on the radio, if it's live or on y'all podcast, whatever, y'all stay cooking. Y'all keep doing y'all thing, and hopefully I get to talk to y'all soon.
Yes, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you.
No doubt.
RB, you always are chock full of secrets over there. You got anything hiding in the stash that we could possibly be a little wordage on the curb for the listeners that are tuning in?
You know what? The last bit of word on the curb that I could share today is, so a couple weeks ago, me and Jay talked to Mikey Garcia, and we pre-recorded about 45 minutes of an interview with Mikey Garcia, and my dumbass accidentally deleted it. And I was devastated. I was almost crying in Las Vegas, Jay, because I deleted our interview.
Know.
But he was actually giving us.
It was a great interview, but I wanted to hug you. I didn't want you to be that sad.
I know. But Mikey was giving us a lot of tea. But the one piece of tea, the one cup of tea he gave us was about Saul Neno Rodriguez. Everybody calls him Neno, top-ranked fighter. He told us that Cameron Duncan actually released him from his managerial contract a few weeks ago. And I was kind of shocked by that. I'm like, wow, Cameron Duncan released Neno? You know, really? I mean, I know a lot of people like Neno. And he goes, yeah, man, you know, and now he's trying to figure out what he's going to do with Top Rank. He don't know if he's going to resign with them. And we've been seeing Neno a lot lately, taking pictures with Floyd, going to Las Vegas. So the writing is on the wall already. You know, he no longer has a manager. He's reaching out to Heyman. He's hanging out with Floyd. And, you know, he wants a really big signing bonus, and I don't think Top Rank is going to give it to him. So, you know, I guess Neno wanted more exposure, more marketability. He wanted to be more active. And so right now he's just sitting there not fighting. So I don't know how this is working out for him, but that's the word on the curb. He was released by Cameron Duncan, and Top Rank is probably not resigning him.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens with Neno. We are approaching the top of the hour, so that means it's almost time for us to wrap up. So why don't we get into the weekend fight preview? Coming up this weekend, it's a pretty slow weekend for us in boxing. There is a couple fights that are going to be on TV. We've got from Verona, New York, PBC on ESPN. Wow, Migos is a little too loud. But we've got the fight coming up ESPN, headlined by, not Migos, headlined by Miguel Flores versus Ryan Kielczewski. Yeah, that fight. It's going to be from Verona, New York, PBC on ESPN and on ESPN Deportes. So if you have those channels, make sure you tune in. And the co-feature, Jamal James versus your Dennis Ugas. The main event is a featherweight fight for 10 rounds. The co-feature is a 10-round welterweight fight. Also fighting this weekend, that is on Friday night. Only card on Friday night. On Saturday night, from BN Sports Español, from Rosarito, Mexico, Antonio Cockeyed Margarito is going to be fighting against Canelo's brother, Ramon Alvarez, for 10 rounds of junior middleweight action. Ramon Alvarez has been talking pretty big in media. I saw an article today on Boxing Scene where he says he expects to retire Margarito once and for all, and of course Antonio Margarito just keeps fighting and fighting down in Mexico. I don't know. We'll see how the fight turns out. Antonio Margarito, Ramon Alvarez. I forget, Canelo's got a lot of brothers that fight, and I can't remember offhand with the last fight that I saw Ramon Alvarez fight in, but I mean, you're fighting against Margarito. Margarito will probably eke out a victory just because it's Antonio Margarito. He will have to knock him out to get a victory. But the last couple fights, you know, Ramon Alvarez is on a win streak. He last fought in January and fought a couple of times in 2015. So if you've got BN Español, I might try to find a stream online this weekend if I am home. I think I'm not, but I might try to watch it just because it's Antonio Margarito. And that's all we got for the fight schedule this weekend. Nothing else on broadcast TV that anybody will be tuned into. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? Is this real? Roy Jones Jr. is fighting this weekend?
Girl, you know, I don't know.
That's our guy, but come on, man. Fighting in Pensacola in this town. I see a fight listed here. Roy Jones Jr. versus Rodney Moore, cruiserweight fight. I don't know if this is part of this fight farewell tour Roy Jones is on, but allegedly he's fighting. If somebody can confirm that and tweet me that Roy Jones Jr. is fighting this weekend, if you're in Pensacola, hey, go holler at Roy. You must have forgot. And that's it for the weekend fight schedule.
All right, that's it. Well, I think we're ready to sign off, Jay.
Well, we are ready to call it a night. Thank you, everyone who called in. Joey, Mike, those of you in the queue. I don't know why it's like 27 of you in the queue who are listening to the show. We do like that you're listening to the show, but, you know, we want to talk to you sometime, too. Make sure you tune in on Monday for the Morning Punch-In Show with RB and Jay. It is great being back with all of you. Keep supporting boxing. Even if people try to turn you off with boxing and they're supposedly boxing fans, ignore that shit and support the fight in your own organic and beautiful way. That's it, and good night.